If you'd have asked me in my 20s what a therapist looks like, I'd have said someone young, strong, full of energy. But after more than a decade being a full-time therapist, I've noticed something that's key. Most people don't wake up to their bodies, to their energy, to their emotional state until they're in their 40s. Let that sink in. Is when we're in his 20s, you might be off partying and living that party lifestyle. You might just care about seeing your friends and having a good time. When you're in your 30s, you might slow down a bit. You're thinking about kids, you're thinking about family, you're thinking about career. But something begins to change when you're in your 40s. Over the last 10, 15 years, I've seen the same pattern over and over again. When people reach 40, and I think it's particularly women, but men also. I've seen it happening to more men recently. But women in particular become more aware. They become more aware of the body. They become more aware of the aches and the pains that come with life as a whole. And they become more aware of this idea that they don't need to put up with this pain or this ache or these levels of stress that they're carrying. And they become more aware of themselves emotionally, energetically, and even spiritually. And they tend to follow a set pattern of like discovery. They go down a route of looking at things like Reiki with energy. Maybe following the patterns of the moon and the lunar cycles and how that affects the body. They go down the route of maybe getting into shiatsu, maybe getting into bodywork. Suddenly they want to do something different and help people. And that's kind of why I think being 40 is the perfect time. But let's look at it deeper. What makes a therapist over 40 the perfect time? I think by the time you get to 40, you're probably not chasing the things you chased when you're in your 20s and 30s. Maybe you're not chasing to go up the corporate ladder anymore. Maybe you're not wanting to have that top managerial job. Or maybe you're getting burnt out from the stress of having that top managerial job. Excuse me. So then you start looking around at other alternatives, such as being a therapist. And you know what? It doesn't matter if you're 40 and you're just getting into it. That gives you a good 20, possibly 30 years worth of career as a therapist. And the good thing is, when you're 40, I think clients trust you more. The trust in the experience you've got, the trust in the empathy you've got, the trust in the knowledge that you've gained, and the life skills and experiences you've been through. By the time you're 40, you've been through trauma. Something will have happened in your life that's caused stress, anxiety. You've dealt with it all. And therefore, that makes you the perfect therapist, because when somebody's laying on your table, you can connect with that person. Maybe they're here because they're suffering with grief. By the time you're 40, you've probably experienced some grief yourself. You can connect with them. Maybe they're suffering from an injury. By the time you're 40, you've probably had a few injuries. You can empathise with that injury. It's difficult for therapists in the 20s. Now, to me, if you become a holistic therapist when you're only in your 20s, like I did, you've actually got a lot stacked against you because you haven't got that much life experience. So you have to rely purely on the skills and techniques that you've got rather than your ability to connect with a person about their issues. Obviously, I'm not saying that people in the 20s shouldn't be a therapist, but they're probably better suited to being like a sports therapist or a physiotherapist, someone who's dealing with purely the physical, someone that's going to attract other young athletes, pretty much. I mean, somebody in the 20s will probably feel more comfortable going to someone in the 20s. But when you're in your 40s, you'll get clients of all ages. I've got clients currently, I think currently probably about 17, 18, but I have had in the past clients as young as 10. Likewise, currently, I think the oldest client I've currently got coming is 88, but I have had a client at 98 before. So being in your 40s gives you that vast range of people that feel comfortable coming to you. The young ones come because of your knowledge and your experience. The older ones come more for your experience and your ability to connect with them and understand what they're going through as well. The fact is, a 45-year-old therapist doesn't have to prove that they're calm, doesn't have to prove that they've got knowledge, doesn't have to prove that they've got wisdom. It's just assumed that they're already there. Let that sink in. You're already there. As a 40-something-year-old, even before you get into therapy, you're already a lot more calmer, you're going to have a lot more wisdom, and you've got the experience of life. The next step is simply getting the tools to help fellow human beings in your situation. At 40, it's not about starting again. It's more about transitioning and slowing down, having a more relaxed life and a more relaxed career, if you like. There's not as much stress being a therapist. Like, people look at me and they say, Shane, you must be chilled out. And I am. I genuinely am. Obviously, there's still stresses in life we've got to deal with. Like if anything bad happens, you've still got to deal with that. And you've still got to deal with family life. And obviously, you've got the stress of earning enough money, which is something I want to help people, other therapists with. I want to help people now. Now I've got a full client base. I want to help other therapists build their client base and build a good business. But so there's always going to be other stresses in your life. But compared to corporate world, you're not going to get much more relaxed, are you? And instead of working for the man, you're now working for yourself. But not just yourself, you're working for your clients. You're working to help them out. So if you're in your 40s and you're feeling that pull, now I felt it back when I was a lot younger, and it was almost like a beast in my belly that was telling me, Shane, you need to become a shiatsu therapist. You need to go out into the world and heal people. But you know what? It's not about healing people. It's about connecting with people. It's about helping people. It's about guiding people, right? Then just start. But you don't have to rush into this. You don't have to think, right, tomorrow I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to do a 2-month intense course, and then I'm going to go crazy, and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Take it steady, right? Especially if you're going down the spiritual path. Far too often I've seen people go too deep, too quick, and they kind of lose their minds a little bit. So take it steady, one step at a time. Maybe look for a part-time course at a local college, or look for local schools that may offer something you might be interested in. That might be massage. It could be counselling. It could be psychotherapy, which is similar. It could be Reiki. It could be something else. Like at the minute, I'm seeing a massive rise on Instagram to do with Tantra and the female divinity. It could be that sparks your interest. But whatever it is, take your path, test it, try it. Does this feel right for me? Is this the path I want to go on? Right? And if it's not, try something else. There's no point rushing. And then, once you've got there, Maybe look at reducing a couple of days at work a week so that you can see clients, you can deal with clients, and then once you've got a couple of days built up, then go, okay, this is for me. Let's go and do it. Then, when you're ready to take the next step and you need help and advice on that, this channel is going to be here for you. So, over 40 is not too late to become a therapist. It's the exact time people are waking up and are becoming therapists. Now, if you're thinking about becoming a therapist, or maybe you're over 40 and you've just become a therapist, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to have more conversations about this, see how many people are waking up and taking on that new role. So, do me a favour, drop me a comment. Goodbye for now.